Your soulmate's name will shock you. Find it now. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you. And before your mind jumps in with doubt or curiosity, pause right here, because your heart needs this right now, and the fact that you're still here tells me something important. Your soul is already paying attention, and the universe doesn't pull your focus like this unless there's a reason, unless there's a truth trying to reach you at the exact moment you're ready to hear it, and listen closely, because this isn't entertainment, this isn't coincidence, this is recognition, and the reason this feels personal is because it is. And this message is for you if you've felt that quiet sense lately that something is aligning behind the scenes, that love isn't far away anymore, just hidden, unfolding, waiting for the right awareness to click on. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe often reveals names before faces, sounds before touch, echoes before encounters, and your soulmate's name has already been circling your life, brushing past your awareness, repeating softly until your intuition wakes up enough to notice it. And your heart needs this right now because part of you has been wondering why certain names stick with you, why one name in particular makes your chest feel warm or your thoughts slow down just a little. And listen to this truth, that's not random, that's your soul recognizing something familiar long before your mind can explain it. And don't scroll, listen to this, because spiritual awakening changes how you receive signs. You stop needing lightning bolts and start noticing whispers, patterns, repetition. And names are one of the universe's favorite ways to prepare your heart, because names carry energy, memory, destiny, and when a name keeps appearing, in conversations you weren't part of, in songs that play at the exact moment you're thinking about love, in dreams you wake up remembering, in strangers you almost talk to. That's not coincidence, that's alignment warming up, and this message is for you because you're no longer in the phase of chasing love, you're in the phase of recognizing it, and recognition always comes quietly at first. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe has been giving you confirmations already. Maybe you see 11. 11 when you think about love, or 222 when you start doubting whether destiny is real, or 333 when emotion hits you out of nowhere. And those angel numbers aren't just reassurance, they're instruction. They're saying pay attention to what's repeating, pay attention to what lingers, pay attention to what feels familiar without reason. And your heart needs this right now because you've spent a long time trusting logic over intuition, telling yourself you need proof before belief. But listen to this, soul connections don't come with proof first, they come with knowing, and knowing often arrives disguised as curiosity, as warmth, as a name you can't quite forget. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the reason your soulmate's name may shock you is because it's not what you expected. It might belong to someone you overlooked, someone you dismissed as not my type, someone already loosely connected to your life, or even a name you once associated with something else entirely. And the universe does this on purpose. It breaks patterns, it bypasses expectations, it reaches your soul instead of your preferences, and your heart needs this right now because love that's meant to last doesn't arrive through prediction, it arrives through revelation. And listen closely, because revelation feels subtle at first, like a soft tap on the shoulder instead of a push. And don't scroll, listen to this, because your body already knows. Notice how you react when you hear that name, not just emotionally, but physically. Does your breathing slow? Does your chest soften? Does your mind quiet instead of race? That's not imagination, that's resonance. And this message is for you because resonance is how souls recognize each other across time, across logic, across circumstances. And your heart needs this right now because you've survived connections that felt intense but draining, loud but empty, exciting but unsafe. And the universe is teaching you that real love doesn't shout, it hums, it settles, it feels like coming home instead of being swept away. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the name you're meant to notice doesn't come with anxiety, it comes with calm curiosity, it lingers without urgency, and that's how you know it's different. And this message is for you because the universe has been clearing space in your life, emotionally and energetically, so that when this name finally connects to a face, a voice, a moment, you'll be open enough to receive it without fear running the show. And listen closely, because the reason this hasn't happened all at once is protection, divine protection. The universe doesn't rush soul connections, it introduces them gently, layer by layer, so they can grow roots instead of burning out. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the shock won't come from the name itself, it will come from the realization that your soul already knew it, that it's been responding long before you consciously noticed, and your heart needs this right now because that realization restores trust in yourself, in your intuition, in the idea that love can find you without struggle. And listen to this. The universe is not asking you to figure anything out right now, it's asking you to stay aware, to notice repetition, to honor what feels familiar without forcing meaning onto it. And don't scroll, listen to this, because forcing clarity too soon is how people miss destiny, and your heart needs this right now because patience is no longer punishment for you, it's preparation. And listen closely, because part 1 ends here not with the name revealed, but with something more important. Recognition activated, awareness awakened, intuition turned on, and the next time you hear that name, see it written, or feel it echo in your thoughts, don't dismiss it, don't rationalize it away, just notice how your body responds, because the universe doesn't need you to believe yet. It just needs you to stay present. And don't scroll, listen to this final moment carefully, because what comes next will turn repetition into clarity, and when the name finally connects to the moment you've been preparing for, it won't feel surprising, it will feel inevitable, like something your soul has been waiting to remember all along. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you. And if you felt something shift after part 1, like a quiet awareness settling deeper into your chest, that's because your heart needs this right now, and the universe is moving you from recognition into confirmation. And listen closely, because this is where the message becomes unmistakably personal, where what felt subtle starts to feel intentional, and what felt symbolic starts to feel specific. And this message is for you if you've noticed that certain names are no longer just passing through your awareness but staying, lingering in ways that don't make logical sense. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe does not repeat without purpose, and repetition is one of its most precise tools, especially when it comes to soulmate connections. And your heart needs this right now because you've been trained to dismiss signs that don't come with explanations. But soul-level guidance rarely arrives fully formed, it arrives in layers, and names are one of the earliest layers because they bypass the mind and go straight to memory, energy, and intuition. And listen carefully, because if a name has been appearing around you lately, on social media, in conversations you weren't meant to overhear, in shows you randomly clicked on, in music lyrics that hit you unexpectedly, that's not coincidence, that's your awareness being tuned. And don't scroll, listen to this, because your soulmate's name is not being shown to you to rush you, it's being shown to prepare you, to soften your nervous system, to make the eventual encounter feel familiar instead of overwhelming. And your heart needs this right now because you've had experiences where love arrived too fast, too loud, too intense. And your body learned to associate surprise with danger, and the universe is correcting that gently by letting recognition come before contact, and listen closely, because you may have noticed that when this name appears, you don't feel anxious, you feel curious, grounded, even calm, and don't scroll. Listen to this, because calm curiosity is the signature of alignment, not obsession, not fantasy, alignment, and this message is for you because alignment doesn't scream, it resonates. It hums quietly until your soul says, "That feels right," and your heart needs this right. Now because you're learning to trust that quiet yes instead of waiting for dramatic proof, and listen to this, the angel numbers you've been seeing are part of this same conversation. When you see 11. 11 right after hearing that name or thinking about it, the universe is telling you a doorway has opened internally. When you see 222 during moments of doubt about whether you're imagining this, the universe is saying balance is being restored, trust the process. When you see 333 as emotion rises unexpectedly, it's reassurance that you're supported through this awakening, and don't scroll. Listen to this, because awakenings often feel emotional before they feel clear, and your heart needs this right now because clarity is forming even if you can't articulate it yet, and listen carefully, because the reason this name may shock you is not because it's exotic or dramatic, but because it's unexpectedly familiar. It may belong to someone you already know of, someone you once dismissed as insignificant, someone connected to your past in a neutral way, or even a name you associated with a lesson instead of a blessing. And the universe loves to redeem meaning. It takes what you thought was ordinary and reveals destiny inside it. And don't scroll, listen to this, because soulmates are not always strangers. Sometimes they are people whose names your soul already learned to recognize before your heart was ready to open, and your heart needs this right now because part of you has been afraid that destiny would come in a form you wouldn't recognize. But listen to this truth. Destiny often comes wrapped in familiarity, so you don't run from it, and listen closely, because the universe has also been guiding you through dreams, subtle ones you might not remember clearly but wake up feeling comforted, oriented, emotionally steady, and names often pass through dreams not as images but as feelings, impressions, sounds. And don't scroll, listen to this, because your subconscious listens when your conscious mind is quiet, and your heart needs this right now because you're learning that not all messages arrive through thought. Some arrive through sensation, and listen carefully. Because the reason this name hasn't been fully revealed yet is protection, not secrecy. The universe is letting you acclimate to the energy first so that when the name connects to a moment, a face, a conversation, you won't freeze or doubt yourself. And don't scroll, listen to this, because doubt used to be your armor, but you don't need that armor in the same way anymore. And your heart needs this right now because you've done the work. You've healed enough to receive something gently, and listen to this, the shock you're going to feel will not be fear, it will be recognition, that moment where you realize, this has been around me longer than I thought. And don't scroll, listen to this, because recognition often comes with a sense of inevitability, like realizing you've been walking towards something without knowing it. And your heart needs this right now because inevitability brings peace, not anxiety. And listen carefully, because the universe is not asking you to guess the name, it's asking you to notice your reactions, to notice which names linger, which ones feel warm instead of neutral, which ones return without effort. And don't scroll, listen to this, because effort is the giveaway. What's meant for you doesn't require you to strain to remember it, it remembers you, and your heart needs this right now because you've strained enough in love. And listen to this, part 2 isn't about revealing the name yet, it's about anchoring you in awareness, teaching you how to listen without forcing answers, how to trust repetition without fear. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe is moving you closer to clarity, not by pushing information at you, but by sharpening your intuition so that when clarity arrives, you recognize it instantly. And your heart needs this right now because soon the name will stop feeling like a mystery and start feeling like confirmation. And when that happens, you won't need signs anymore, because recognition will replace doubt. And listen to this final moment carefully, because what's coming next will not feel dramatic, it will feel right, and that's how you'll know the universe wasn't playing with you, it was preparing you, step by step, gently, intentionally, exactly the way your heart needed. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you, and if you're still here after everything you've already felt, that's not curiosity anymore, that's resonance, and your heart needs this right now because this is the part where the universe stops hinting and starts activating something inside you. So stay with me, breathe for a second, and let this land, because what you're experiencing now is not imagination. It's alignment tightening into focus, and listen closely, because when a soulmate's name keeps surfacing the way it has for you, it means the energetic thread between you has already been established, long before timing, distance, or logic had a chance to interfere, and this message is for you if you've noticed that the name doesn't just appear randomly anymore, it shows up at emotionally precise moments, when you're quiet, when you're reflective, when your guard is down, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because the universe does not speak during noise, it speaks during stillness, and your heart needs this right now because stillness is where truth feels safe enough to reveal itself, and listen carefully, because part of the shock around this name is not just who it belongs to, but how long it's been circling you, sometimes years, sometimes quietly attached to neutral memories, sometimes tied to a season of your life that didn't feel romantic at all, and the universe does this intentionally. It plants familiarity before desire, comfort before attraction, recognition before revelation, and don't scroll, listen to this, because your soul recognizes patterns long before your conscious mind assigns meaning, and that's why certain names carry weight for no obvious reason, they linger, they echo, they don't leave easily. And your heart needs this right now because you've been trained to ignore what doesn't make immediate sense, but destiny doesn't explain itself up front, it unfolds. And listen to this truth, when your spiritual awakening deepens, your intuition becomes more precise, and you stop needing signs to scream, you notice when they whisper, and names are whispers, soft but persistent, and don't scroll. Listen to this, because the angel numbers you keep seeing are part of this same message. When you notice 11 right after hearing or thinking of that name, the universe is telling you a door has opened internally, not externally yet, but internally. When you see 222 as you question whether you're reading too much into this, the universe is reminding you that balance is being restored, that two energies are being aligned even if the path isn't visible yet. When you see 333 as emotion rises unexpectedly, that's reassurance that you're supported through this awakening, that you're not alone in this process, and your heart needs this right now because awakenings often feel isolating at first, like you're sensing something others can't see yet, and listen closely. Because the reason this name hasn't fully resolved into clarity yet is not delay, it's calibration. The universe is adjusting your emotional frequency so that when recognition turns into encounter, you don't sabotage it with fear, doubt, or overthinking. And don't scroll, listen to this, because you have a history of protecting your heart by staying one step ahead, and the universe is teaching you a new way now. Staying present instead of predictive, and your heart needs this right now because presence is the gateway to destiny, and listen carefully, because the shock you'll feel when the name finally connects to a moment, a conversation, or a realization will not feel chaotic, it will feel grounding, like suddenly understanding a story you've been reading backwards. And don't scroll, listen to this, because that kind of clarity doesn't spike adrenaline, it brings peace, and your heart needs this right now because peace is how you'll know it's real, not intensity, not obsession, not urgency. And listen to this, the universe has also been speaking through your body, not just your thoughts. Notice how you respond when that name appears, your shoulders drop, your breathing deepens, your mind quiets instead of racing. And don't scroll, listen to this, because your body recognizes alignment before your mind allows belief, and your heart needs this right now because you've learned not to ignore your body anymore. And listen carefully, because the reason your soulmate's name will shock you is because it doesn't come with fireworks, it comes with familiarity, comfort, and a strange sense of course, and the mind calls that boring, but the soul calls it home. And don't scroll, listen to this, because home doesn't need to announce itself, it feels natural, inevitable, like something you've been walking toward without realizing it. And your heart needs this right now because inevitability removes fear. And listen closely, because the universe is not asking you to guess the name, to search for it, to analyze it. It's asking you to notice what already notices you, which names return without effort, which ones feel warm instead of neutral, which ones linger even when you try to dismiss them. And don't scroll, listen to this, because effort is the tell. What's meant for you doesn't require you to chase clarity, clarity comes to you, and your heart needs this right now because chasing exhausted you. And listen to this truth, soulmates don't arrive loudly, they arrive recognizably, and recognition feels quiet, steady, undeniable. And don't scroll, listen to this, because part 3 isn't here to reveal the name yet. It's here to deepen your trust in how the universe communicates with you, to strengthen your intuition so that when the moment arrives, you don't second-guess it. And your heart needs this right now because doubt has been louder than intuition in your past, and that balance is shifting. And listen carefully, because soon the repetition will change, the name will stop appearing abstractly and start appearing contextually, tied to moments, opportunities, conversations. And when that happens, you won't need this message anymore, because recognition will have taken over. And don't scroll, listen to this final moment carefully, because what's unfolding is not meant to rush you, it's meant to reveal you, to remind you that love doesn't come to disrupt your life, it comes to align with it. And when your soulmate's name finally lands fully in your awareness, it won't shock you because it's strange, it will shock you because it feels like something you've known all along. And that's how you'll know the universe wasn't playing with you, it was guiding you, gently, patiently, exactly the way your heart needed. Don't scroll, listen to this, this message is for you. And if you've stayed with this journey into part 4, it's because your heart needs this right now in a way that words are only beginning to touch, because this is the moment where recognition turns into orientation, where the universe stops pointing and starts positioning. And listen closely, because what's happening now is subtle but powerful, like a compass quietly locking onto true north. And this message is for you if you've noticed that the name doesn't just appear anymore. It arrives with feeling, with timing, with a strange sense of rightness that doesn't ask permission from logic. And don't scroll, listen to this, because destiny doesn't rush, it arranges. An arrangement feels like coincidence until you notice the pattern. And your heart needs this right now because you're finally seeing the pattern without needing to force it. And listen carefully, because part of the shock isn't just the name itself, it's how the universe has been layering meaning around it, attaching it to moments of calm, to songs that land exactly when you need comfort, to conversations that end with you thinking, "That felt important," and don't scroll, listen to this, because importance doesn't announce itself with noise, it settles quietly and waits to be acknowledged. And your heart needs this right now because you've lived in a world that taught you to trust intensity over steadiness, urgency over patience, fireworks over foundations, and the universe is gently undoing that. Conditioning through this name, through the way it keeps showing up without pressure, without demand, without drama, and listen closely, because when something is meant for you, it doesn't need to chase you, it finds you when you're still, and this message is for you because stillness has become your strength lately, even if you didn't realize it. You've learned how to pause instead of panic, to breathe instead of brace, and that's exactly when destiny speaks. And don't scroll, listen to this. Because the angel numbers you've been seeing are shifting in tone now, they're not just reassurance, they're alignment checks. When you see 11 and feel calm instead of hopeful, that's because a new beginning has already integrated into your identity. When you see 222 and feel balanced instead of uncertain, that's because harmony is no longer something you're chasing, it's something you're embodying. When you see 333 and feel supported instead of overwhelmed, that's because your spiritual awakening has stabilized. And your heart needs this right now because stabilization is what allows love to grow without fear contaminating it. And listen carefully, because the universe has also been speaking through contrast, through the way other names, other possibilities, other distractions no longer hold your attention the way they once did. And don't scroll, listen to this, because indifference is clarity's quiet cousin. And your heart needs this right now because clarity doesn't always feel like certainty, sometimes it feels like less noise. And listen to this truth. When the right name appears, everything else fades into background static, not because it's wrong, but because it's not aligned. And don't scroll, listen to this, because alignment simplifies your emotional landscape. It reduces options without reducing possibility, and your heart needs this right now because you've had too many options that led nowhere, too many almosts, too many maybes, and the universe is guiding you towards something that doesn't ask you to guess. And listen closely, because the reason the name will shock you is also because of where it appears next, not just how. It may come through a moment of vulnerability, a decision you almost didn't make, a conversation you almost avoided. And don't scroll, listen to this, because destiny often waits on courage, not grand courage, but small courage, the courage to show up, to say yes, to stay present when you could disappear. And your heart needs this right now because you've learned how to disappear when things get real. And the universe is gently asking you to stay, and listen carefully, because the name is not the destination, it's the doorway, and doorways don't push you through, they invite you to notice you're already standing in front of them. And don't scroll, listen to this, because noticing is the work now, not chasing, not deciphering, not demanding answers, just noticing how your body responds, how your intuition speaks, how your breath changes when the name appears in a meaningful context. And your heart needs this right now because your body has become your most honest guide. And listen to this, the universe has also been testing your trust in subtle ways, allowing moments where the name doesn't appear for a while, just to see if you'll panic or stay grounded. And don't scroll, listen to this, because absence is not loss, it's integration. And your heart needs this right now because integration is where belief becomes embodied. And listen carefully, because the reason this part feels quieter is because the universe doesn't need to shout anymore. You're listening, you're noticing, you're aligned enough to receive whispers. And don't scroll, listen to this, because whispers are more intimate than shouts, and your heart needs this right now because intimacy is what you've been craving beneath all the longing, not intensity, not excitement, but being met where you are. And listen to this truth: your soulmate's name is not meant to impress you, it's meant to fit you, to slide into your life in a way that feels natural, supportive, grounding. And don't scroll, listen to this, because fitting doesn't mean small, it means right-sized for who you are now, not who you used to be. And your heart needs this right now because you've outgrown the kind of love that overwhelms and underdelivers. And listen closely, because the universe has been watching how you choose lately, how you say no faster, how you protect your peace, how you honor your intuition even when it doesn't make sense to others. And don't scroll, listen to this, because those choices are what qualify you for recognition-based love instead of trauma-based attachment. And your heart needs this right now because recognition feels different. It doesn't trigger survival, it invites presence. And listen to this: the shock you're preparing for is not chaos, it's clarity, the kind that makes you say, "Oh, that's why." And don't scroll, listen to this, because that's why moments heal years of confusion in seconds. And your heart needs this right now because you've been patient long enough to receive something that doesn't need to be questioned. And listen carefully, because part 4 is not here to give you the name yet, it's here to strengthen your trust in the process, to remind you that destiny doesn't need to be hunted, it needs to be recognized. And don't scroll, listen to this, because recognition happens when you stop trying to control the outcome and start honoring the signal. And your heart needs this right now because honoring the signal is how you stay aligned without forcing timing. And listen to this final moment carefully, because the universe is not done revealing, it's simply waiting for the right context, the right alignment, the right calm. And when the name finally lands fully, when it connects to the moment you've been preparing for, it won't feel like a surprise attack, it will feel like a long-awaited confirmation. And don't scroll, listen to this, because that confirmation will not ask you to change who you are, it will meet you exactly where you stand. And your heart needed this right now to remember that destiny doesn't rush the ready, it recognizes them, and you are being recognized. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you. And if you're still here at part 5, that's not because you're waiting for a reveal, it's because your heart needs this right now in a deeper, steadier way than you expected, because this is the stage where the universe stops circling the truth and starts anchoring it inside you. And listen closely, because what you're experiencing now is not anticipation anymore, it's familiarity settling into certainty. And that shift is subtle but life-changing. And this message is for you if you've noticed that the name no longer feels mysterious, it feels charged, like it carries weight, memory, and emotion even before anything happens in the physical. And don't scroll, listen to this, because that's exactly how destiny feels right before it becomes undeniable. And your heart needs this right now because you've spent a long time questioning whether you could trust your intuition, whether you were imagining things, whether signs were just coincidence. And the universe is gently answering that doubt by showing you consistency instead of intensity, repetition instead of shock. And listen carefully, because repetition is the language of alignment, and the reason the name keeps returning is not to confuse you, it's to normalize the energy so that when the moment arrives, your nervous system doesn't panic, it recognizes. And don't scroll, listen to this, because recognition feels calm, grounded, almost obvious in hindsight. And your heart needs this right now because calm has not always been part of love for you. And listen to this truth, the universe is teaching you that love aligned with your soul does not come with anxiety attached, it comes with clarity that unfolds gently. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the angel numbers you're seeing are shifting again, and that matters. When you see 11. 11 now, it doesn't feel like hope anymore, it feels like confirmation that a new chapter is already active. When you see 222, it feels stabilizing instead of reassuring, like balance is no longer something you're chasing but something you're standing in. When you see 333, it feels supportive, like you're being held through emotional openness instead of pushed through fear. And your heart needs this right now because these shifts mean your intuition is no longer waking up, it's awake. And listen carefully, because the universe has also been testing your trust by allowing moments where the name disappears for a while, where you don't see it, hear it, or feel it as strongly. And don't scroll, listen to this, because that absence is intentional, it's integration. It's the universe checking whether you still believe without constant reassurance, and your heart needs this right now because belief that survives silence is real belief. And listen to this truth, if you haven't panicked during those quiet stretches, if you've stayed grounded instead of anxious, that's proof of how much you've grown. And don't scroll, listen to this, because growth is what qualifies you for recognition-based love instead of pattern-based attachment, and your heart needs this right now because you've broken cycles quietly, without applause, without validation, and the universe sees that. And listen carefully, because the name is no longer just a sign, it's becoming a reference point, something your intuition checks against when new energies enter your life. And don't scroll, listen to this, because if other names, other people, other possibilities suddenly feel flat, rushed, or noisy compared to that one name, that's not comparison, that's discernment. And your heart needs this right now because discernment is how you protect peace without closing your heart. And listen to this. The universe has also been guiding you to slow your reactions, to respond instead of react, to sit with feelings instead of chasing meaning. And don't scroll, listen to this, because sitting with feelings is how destiny becomes clear without force. And your heart needs this right now because force used to feel necessary for survival, but survival is no longer your mode, presence is. And listen carefully, because the reason your soulmate's name will shock you is not because it comes from nowhere, it's because it comes from somewhere you didn't expect. Maybe from a place you once overlooked, a chapter you thought was closed, or a connection you categorized too quickly. And the universe loves to reveal destiny through humility, not ego, through awareness, not expectation. And don't scroll, listen to this, because expectation narrows possibility, and your heart needs this right now because you've learned how to let go of rigid ideas of how love should arrive. And listen to this truth, when you release expectation, recognition becomes effortless. And don't scroll, listen to this, because effort is not required for what's meant for you, alignment does the work quietly. And your heart needs this right now because you've done enough striving. And listen carefully, because your dreams may be changing too, becoming less chaotic, more symbolic, calmer. Even if you don't remember details, you wake up with a sense of knowing, and names often travel through dreams as feelings, impressions, tones. And don't scroll, listen to this, because your subconscious listens to the universe without resistance. And your heart needs this right now because you're learning to trust that inner listening again. And listen to this, the universe is not asking you to act yet, it's asking you to align. And alignment feels like patience without frustration, curiosity without obsession, openness without vulnerability overload. And don't scroll, listen to this, because those are new states for you. And your heart needs this right now because new states mean new outcomes. And listen carefully, because the moment the name finally lands fully, when it connects to a person, a conversation, a look, a realization, it will not create chaos in you, it will create stillness. And don't scroll, listen to this, because stillness is the clearest signal of truth, and your heart needs this right now because truth doesn't rush you, it settles you. And listen to this final truth. Part 5 is not about revealing the name. It's about preparing your nervous system to receive it without fear, without doubt, without the urge to self-sabotage. And don't scroll, listen to this, because self-sabotage only happens when the nervous system feels unsafe, and safety is what the universe has been building inside you this entire time. And your heart needs this right now because you are no longer being led towards something that will test your worth, you are being led towards something that will recognize it. And listen carefully, because recognition does not overwhelm, it confirms. And when the name finally arrives in full clarity, you won't need signs anymore, because recognition will speak louder than doubt ever did. And don't scroll, listen to this, because what's unfolding is not a trick, not a tease, not a fantasy, it's a gentle unfolding of destiny that matches the version of you who can finally hold it. And your heart needed this right now to remember that destiny doesn't arrive to impress you, it arrives to meet you, exactly as you are, grounded, aware, ready. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you. And if you've arrived at part 6, it's because your heart needs this right now at a depth that words are finally catching up to, because this is where the universe shifts from preparing you to positioning you. And listen closely, because positioning doesn't feel like pressure, it feels like alignment tightening gently, like everything inside you getting quieter so something true can be heard clearly. And this message is for you if the signs haven't stopped but have changed in texture, changed in tone, changed in how they land in your body, because that's exactly what happens when awareness becomes readiness. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the divine numbers you're seeing now are not trying to convince you anymore, they're calibrating you. When 111 shows up lately, it's not excitement, it's recognition. It's the universe saying the beginning has already begun within you, even if the world hasn't caught up yet. And your heart needs this right now because internal beginnings are the most sacred, they don't announce themselves, they integrate. And listen carefully, because 222 appears now as steadiness, not reassurance. It's the signal that balance has been restored between your intuition and your logic, between your openness and your boundaries. And don't scroll, listen to this, because balance is what allows destiny to approach without triggering fear. And your heart needs this right now because fear used to be your compass, and now awareness is taking the lead. And listen closely, because 333 has been arriving during moments of tenderness, when your chest feels open, when memories soften instead of sting. And 333 is spiritual companionship, it's the universe reminding you that you are supported as you allow yourself to feel without armoring up. And don't scroll, listen to this, because feeling without fear is a skill you had to relearn, and your heart needs this right now because you've relearned it quietly, without applause. And listen carefully, because 444 is appearing now as foundation, not protection from chaos, but confirmation that what's forming is rooted, steady, capable of holding weight. And don't scroll, listen to this, because foundations matter more than fireworks, and your heart needs this right now because you've learned the hard way that fireworks fade when there's nothing solid underneath. And listen closely, because 555 may still appear, but it doesn't feel disruptive anymore. It feels like momentum, like something that's been building internally is preparing to move outward. And don't scroll, listen to this, because momentum does not require urgency, it requires trust. And your heart needs this right now because trust is no longer foreign to you, it's familiar. And listen carefully, because 666 might surface briefly when old thought patterns test you. When the mind whispers, "What if this disappears? What if you're wrong?" and 666 is recalibration, it's the universe gently asking you to bring your thoughts back into alignment with what your body already knows. And don't scroll, listen to this, because your body has been telling you the truth consistently. It relaxes around this energy, it doesn't brace, and your heart needs this right now because relaxation is how safety feels. And listen closely, because 777 appears now with quiet authority, not excitement, not anticipation, but certainty. It's the universe saying you are exactly where you need to be, that nothing here is accidental, that the timing is precise even if it's invisible. And don't scroll, listen to this, because 777 is alignment sealed, not promised, sealed. And your heart needs this right now because sealing does not mean the story is over, it means the direction is set. And listen carefully, because 888 may be appearing more often too, especially when you think about giving and receiving. And 888 is reciprocity, it's the universe correcting imbalance, reminding you that you are no longer meant to overextend to be chosen. And don't scroll, listen to this, because balanced exchange is a requirement for what's coming next. And your heart needs this right now because you've been the one who gave more for too long. And listen closely, because 999 might have crossed your path as well, subtly, quietly. And 999 is completion, not loss. It's the end of an old way of relating to love, where confusion felt normal and peace felt suspicious. And don't scroll, listen to this, because completion frees energy, it doesn't take it away. And your heart needs this right now because freed energy is what allows recognition to become encounter. And listen carefully, because the universe has also been speaking through silence, through the absence of frantic signs, through the quiet confidence settling in you. And don't scroll, listen to this, because silence is not emptiness, it's integration. And your heart needs this right now because integration is when belief becomes embodied. And listen closely, because the reason your soulmate's name hasn't been shouted yet is because your nervous system needed time to feel safe enough to receive it without shock, without disbelief, without self-sabotage. And don't scroll, listen to this, because self-sabotage only happens when the body feels threatened by goodness. And your heart needs this right now because goodness no longer threatens you. It feels deserved. And listen carefully, because the universe has been watching how you respond to peace, how you don't run from it anymore, how you don't chase intensity to feel alive, how you trust stillness. And don't scroll, listen to this, because that shift is what qualifies you for recognition-based love instead of trauma-based attachment. And your heart needs this right now because recognition does not ask you to prove yourself, it simply sees you. And listen closely, because the name you're being guided toward is not meant to impress you, it's meant to fit you, to align with your life, your rhythm, your values. And don't scroll, listen to this, because fit feels different from fantasy. Fantasy excites the mind, fit settles the body. And your heart needs this right now because settling does not mean boring, it means sustainable. And listen carefully, because the universe is not asking you to search for the name, to analyze it, to guess, to compare. It's asking you to notice which name carries calm, which name lingers without effort, which name feels warm instead of loud. And don't scroll, listen to this, because effortlessness is the tell. And your heart needs this right now because you've mistaken effort for love before. And listen to this truth, love aligned with destiny does not require strain, it reveals itself naturally when awareness is ready. And don't scroll, listen to this, because readiness now lives in your body, not your mind. And your heart needs this right now because your body has become your most honest guide, and listen carefully, because soon the divine numbers will begin to fade, not disappear, but recede into the background, because reassurance will no longer be necessary. And don't scroll, listen to this, because when signs become quieter, it's not because guidance has stopped, it's because trust has taken over. And your heart needs this right now because trust is the bridge between recognition and reality. And listen to this final moment carefully, because part 6 is not about revelation yet, it's about stabilization, anchoring you in a calm certainty so that when the name finally lands fully, when it connects to the moment, the voice, the presence you've been preparing for, it won't feel overwhelming, it will feel obvious. And don't scroll, listen to this, because obvious does not mean ordinary, it means aligned, and your heart needed this right now to remember that destiny does not rush the ready. It meets them when their nervous system, intuition, and awareness are finally moving as one, and you are there now, grounded, open, aligned, waiting not with anxiety, but with trust. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you, and if you're still here at part 7, understand this clearly. Your heart needs this right now because you have reached the moment of completion, not the end, but the moment where everything you've been sensing finally locks into place, where confusion dissolves into clarity without noise, and the universe speaks softly because it no longer needs to shout. And listen closely, because this is the phase where destiny stops hinting and starts confirming, and confirmation feels different than anticipation. It feels steady, grounding, almost quiet, and that's how you know it's real. And this message is for you if you've noticed that the signs are no longer frantic, the numbers no longer urgent, the emotions no longer overwhelming, because that calm is not absence. It's alignment settling in. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the divine numbers have not disappeared, they've evolved. When 111 appears now, it's no longer excitement about what's coming, it's recognition of what has already begun. It's the universe saying, this path is active. When 222 shows up, it's not reassurance anymore, it's stabilization. It's balance holding steady between your intuition and your logic, and your heart needs this right now because balance once felt boring to you, and now it feels safe. And listen carefully, because 333 may still surface when emotion rises, but it no longer overwhelms you, it softens you, it opens you, and that spiritual companionship, that support that doesn't rush you. And don't scroll, listen to this, because 444 now represents foundation, not protection from chaos, but confirmation that what's forming is built on truth, patience, and integrity. And your heart needs this right now because foundations are what allow love to last, not intensity, not mystery, not adrenaline. And listen closely, because 555 feels different now too. It no longer signals fear of change, it signals movement with direction, transformation that feels natural instead of disruptive. And don't scroll, listen to this, because transformation that doesn't scare you is proof that you're ready for it. And your heart needs this right now because readiness doesn't feel dramatic, it feels grounded. And listen carefully, because 666 may appear as a final recalibration, reminding you not to slip back into old thought patterns, not to let fear rewrite what peace has already confirmed. And don't scroll, listen to this, because fear is quiet now, and that's intentional. It no longer leads, it only whispers occasionally to see if you'll listen. And your heart needs this right now because you no longer answer fear automatically. And listen closely, because 777 is the number anchoring this phase, and 777 is divine alignment sealed, not promised. Not hoped for, sealed. It's the universe saying, you are exactly where you're meant to be, and that includes the unfolding of your soulmate's name. And don't scroll, listen to this, because 888 may be showing up too, signaling reciprocity, balance restored, equal exchange finally available to you. And your heart needs this right now because you are no longer meant to overgive to be chosen. And listen carefully, because 999 is the quiet ending that matters most, the completion of an old cycle. Where love felt confusing, where signs felt stressful, where waiting felt painful. And don't scroll, listen to this, because completion doesn't mean loss, it means release. And your heart needs this right now because release creates space, and space is where recognition becomes reality. And listen closely, because the universe has been watching how you handle peace lately, how you no longer chase answers, how you don't spiral when signs pause, how you trust what you feel without needing constant validation. And don't scroll, listen to this, because that trust is what allows the final reveal to happen without shock, without self-sabotage, without disbelief. And your heart needs this right now because disbelief used to protect you, and now belief protects you instead. And listen carefully, because the reason your soulmate's name will shock you is not because it's dramatic or exotic, but because when it finally lands fully, it will feel obvious, like something you've been walking toward quietly for a long time. And don't scroll, listen to this, because obvious does not mean ordinary, it means aligned, it means familiar without history, it means recognition without explanation. And your heart needs this right now because recognition heals faster than reassurance ever could. And listen closely, because the universe is not going to announce the name with fireworks, it will arrive through context, through timing, through a moment that feels ordinary until it suddenly doesn't. And don't scroll, listen to this, because destiny loves subtle entrances. And your heart needs this right now because subtle doesn't trigger fear, and fear no longer gets a vote here. And listen carefully, because the name you're being guided toward will not make your heart race, it will make it settle. And that's how you'll know. Your body will relax, your breath will deepen, your thoughts will quiet. And don't scroll, listen to this, because your body is the final confirmation, not your mind. And your heart needs this right now because your body has learned safety, and safety is the language of real love. And listen closely, because you are not being asked to search, to guess, to test, or to chase. You are being asked to notice, to observe which name carries calm, which name lingers without effort, which name feels warm instead of loud. And don't scroll, listen to this, because effortlessness is destiny's signature. And your heart needs this right now because you've mistaken effort for love before. And listen to this truth, what's meant for you does not require strain, it reveals itself when resistance is gone. And don't scroll, listen to this, because resistance has softened in you, and that's why this is happening now, not earlier, not later, now. And your heart needs this right now because timing is not punishment, it's preparation. And listen carefully, because the universe has been pacing this reveal to match your nervous system, your healing, your growth, so that when clarity arrives, you don't run from it, you recognize it. And don't scroll, listen to this, because recognition does not overwhelm, it confirms. And your heart needs this right now because confirmation feels like peace, not adrenaline. And listen closely, because part 7 is not about teasing you, it's about grounding you, anchoring you in the truth that you are no longer waiting for destiny. You are standing inside it. And don't scroll, listen to this, because standing inside destiny feels calm, present, and quietly certain. and your heart needs this right now because certainty no longer scares you, it steadies you, and listen to this final moment carefully, because the next time the name appears, spoken, written, introduced, or realized, you will not question it, you will simply know, and when you know, the universe will not need to send signs anymore, because recognition will have replaced doubt. And don't scroll, listen to this, because that moment is closer than you think, not because you're waiting, but because you're ready, and your heart needed this right now to remember that destiny does not rush the aware, it meets them quietly, confidently, and completely, exactly when they are able to say yes without fear, and that is where you are now.